All right, family. We live with the general. You already know what time it is. I want y'all to buckle in. We're gonna be talking about Carmelo Anthony. We need to talk about Carmelo Anthony. Some of the mistakes that was made in this trial. Number one, getting the devil to fight the devil. Can't do that. Can't do that. You know, you can't. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Cannot get the devil to fight the devil. You know damn well that devil ain't gonna take his the gloves off. See, and so when we get ready to go in there, especially when life's on the line, if you was in a car wreck or you'll slip and fall or some shit like that, maybe you can get your Neanderthal. But when race is involved and life is on the line and you got to go, you got to have a warrior, an unrelenting warrior that's gonna go in there for you as your lawyer and take the gloves off and do what's needed to be done to get the victory, and to get the victory. It is what it is. And so went in there with the devil, went in there with Beelzebub to fight Lucifer. And the family say they was under so much stress that they couldn't even think straight. And I could imagine, that that a family, and then you got these Neanderthals calling your house, threatening your life, threatening your wife, threatening your children. You got a little baby there. You see what I'm saying? And everybody is stressed out. And so, I could imagine. And so they may, and I want to know who this guy is, the black guy who supposed to been in charge of PR. He's supposed to be in charge of PR, and I mean, what did nigga do? You know, what did he do? He ain't did a damn thing. And so, this ain't who you go to war with. And I know the family. This ain't who you. We getting ready to go in here again on this appeal. We getting ready to go in here again on this appeal. Got to have dog ass lawyers. If you hear what I'm saying, you got to have somebody who already got a track record. You know what I'm saying? Already got a track record. Or laying them down. You feel what I'm saying? Laying them down. And and understand the situation that this boy is in, culturally, socially. From his root is from the same historical social dynamic as Carmelo Anthony. This is a peer, and peer mean one who is of same status and ability. Nah, that don't mean black people and can't rise up and get degrees, get paper, get businesses and things of that nature, but they come from the root. Some of them may have come from but you need somebody that's coming from that background that understand the situation that Carmelo Anthony is in and is ready to take the gloves off. Nah, this devil, Beelzebub, the lawyer, number one, it should have been moved. It is no way in hell that Carmelo Anthony can get a fair trial in Collins County. He probably can't get one in Texas. You know what I'm saying? He probably couldn't get one in Texas. Any which way it go, they probably be calling all over Texas. They try to, but of course, probably closer to where some black epicenters that you could get some black peoples in there that could at least balance the scale for this boy. You cannot, this shit like Mississippi burning. You got 12 MAGA Ku Klux Klan jurors up there, already got the fix in, already they've been drinking and partying already. They know what they're gonna do. The judge in on it, the prosecutor in on it, defense lawyer in on it, jurors, everybody is in on it. Okay, there's no damn doubt about it. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. At no point in time are they going to celebrate a slave that rise up on massa. Okay? He's always going to be made an example out of. Okay? That's all the time. You know, because what happens is you encourage other slaves to rise up, to defend themselves. And I'm not saying it, but it is what it is. Okay? That's why you know you ain't a peer. Because if you was a peer, why would you be fighting for civil rights, human rights? Why you always, when every time somebody gets shot, why is it that you always out there trying to defend and get the lawyer and marching if you was a peer? So you ain't no peer then. How the hell you gonna be a peer? You're not a peer. White people are not our peers. And so we have to understand that. So he was not judged by 12 jurors or his peers. No, that's not true. They come from a whole nother cultural, it says race. But race is also a part of it. That's right. Race is always a part of it. That's why you know, if you don't have them people where, you know, if the population is, if we 13, 14, 15%, then we should be represented some damn where. You see, you gonna stay in, you know, you gonna let them run that bullshit down on you so they can always stack the deck. You see, so if it, you know, but maybe it's not that many. I don't know what the black percentage is in Collins County. Let me see. Let me see. What is the black population in Collins County, Texas? Let's find out. It's 12%. 12%. The county's total population was estimated at 1,254,658 in 2024, which would put the black population at roughly 152,000 black people. That's enough to find some goddamn black people to get them on the damn jury. That ain't like you got twos and yeah, that's enough. You know, that's enough. 152,000 black people is in Collins County. Now let me see. Okay, let me see what the black. Let's see what's up with. Okay, let me see what's the black population of Frisco. What's the black population of Frisco, Texas? Let's find out. Say Charleston came out like that. Okay. So Frisco is the black population, 9.1% of the city population. So the city is between 219,000 to 232,000. So which means it's about 20,000 black people in Frisco. Okay, so it's 45.8% white, 28.1%. Well, that even speaks even that right there. Where the hell was this held? Was it in Frisco? Where did they? Oh man, you know what? I'm keeping my mind focused on Carmelo. You know, but even looking at this Frisco, Frisco is 45.8% white, 28.1% Asian. Did they have any Asians on the? Did they have any Asians in the jury? It don't mean nothing. I mean, I'm just saying, with 28, damn near 30%, you would think that they would have one or two people on there. Hispanic was 12%, and black was 9.1, and then it says two or more races. Two or more races, 11.6. I don't know. I guess that means you mix. So, so how in the hell you get all white people? Where was that? What was that hell in Frisco? What city was Carmelo Anthony's trial held in? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm back, family. Kids acting crazy. I had to step in there. Okay, what was it? Okay, why I didn't step in? Wait a minute, family. Yeah, we in the house, family. Let me see where we at. Okay, we good. I'm just making sure. I was trying to. Why I didn't ever show up? Saying. Okay, what it didn't show up. Okay, yeah. Do y'all know what? Hey, Ray, what city was that? Ray, what city was that? Was it in Frisco? Did they have the case? Did they have that trial in Frisco? Look that up for me. Okay, it was in Texas, Collin County Courthouse. Okay, I thought okay it was in okay McKinney. It was in McKinney, Texas. Yeah, I was just trying to Black Power family, Black Power family. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, that's what it is. It should have been moved up out of there. You can't do nothing in Collins County. Yeah, I can tell you. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me back something up. Okay, I'm just checking on some stuff. Yeah, but most definitely he got to come. That's Klan country. Let me see what county this in. I want to know what county that's in. Okay. Oh, okay. I know what it was. So I thought it was. I was looking for this other side. Yeah. Yeah. Well, shit. You got to stand on your. It's all. I mean, that's how I am. I don't hold shit. Especially if you got truth on your side. Ain't no need to bite your motherfucking tongue. It's when you got falsehood. It was an Asian, but Asians and Latin, they ain't nothing but honorary whites. They gonna fall in line with the Neanderthals. They mad now anyway, cause black people on their ass. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they ain't did nothing but put some honorary whites on there. They ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's just like having a Neanderthal on there. But yeah, most definitely we looking at, and if we ain't in agreement with what they doing, man, and they simple mind. If we ain't gonna get on the family. If we ain't gonna get on the family if they did something out of and we don't know. A lot of that shit could be rhetoric too. So I don't want to spew, because you already got the Neanderthal up there, and no matter what, that Carmelo Anthony is innocent, and so we don't want to get into the making of we just got to get in, and they're gonna have to get their shit together though for this fight. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to get their shit together in for this fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's on the real. That's on the goddamn real. And so if they didn't spend all that money, and I don't know. And I don't want to be responsible for spewing, because the white peoples is already up there shooting at the family. And we just had to hold the ground for Carmelo. You feel me? And you know. But hopefully, that they gonna straight. They got to have all 10 toes down for this goddamn fight. You know what I'm saying? And they got to, and they cannot be going and getting these crackerjack lawyers and shit, and bootleg PR and shit that ain't gonna do nothing. You might as well go get Crump or somebody like that and fight for that boy's life. I mean, what the fuck is you doing out there? Fight for that boy's life. Put that money down on that boy, and that's what it was given for, so that he can get up out of this situation that he in. It's like, goddamn, boy, black people, you don't have nobody on your motherfucking side. Straight up. You don't be having nobody on your motherfucking side. Even the people who supposed to be on your side, ain't on your side. So you be damn near, you be by yourself. You be by yourself a lot of times. And it's no excuse with $600,000. God damn. You can motherfucking resurrect Johnny Cochran for that. 600 motherfucking $1,000, they'll resuscitate Johnny Cochran and get him in there. You understand? To fight the good fight. I'm quite sure you can get with that kind of money. You can get three lawyers. You know what I'm saying? You can get a team of goddamn lawyers. Johnny, and get Crump and two more that's gonna go in there and get busy with them Neanderthals. You feel what I'm saying? And you wouldn't be in no appeal. I heard they were talking about giving him a court-appointed lawyer. I say, what the fuck? I can't even believe it. Because I'm thinking to myself, like I was telling y'all, you had to almost anticipate the guilty plea. And so, the guilty verdict. You had to almost anticipate that. So, but you didn't have no good lawyer in the first place. But normally the appeals lawyer is different than the trial. You get a different lawyer. You know what I'm saying? But you have to anticipate that you might be found guilty. So you running. They ain't running already. You supposed to hit them fucking. I was telling y'all the other day. Remember, I said you got to hit the ground running. Days is already going by. But a lot of the family is out there doing some work. So we are doing some work by putting information out there. Keep putting the information out there. Keep putting information out there. Get more information. Expose them for what they is. You know what I'm saying? But try to lead the family out of it. As much as possible. Because that's gonna play into their hands. That's gonna play into their hands. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna play into their hands. And so don't do that. But somebody got to be whispering in their ear though. And I believe somebody will whisper in their ear, like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You wake up. This is real life. You ain't got to do the 35. Young Karmelo got to do the 35, the 17. So you got to put that money where it's going to work for him. You got to put that money where it's going to work for him. And if you probably would have, it could have been victorious. You could have been victorious because it was so many glaring discrepancies. It's glaring discrepancies that, that shit should have been handled in the very beginning. The trial should have been moved. The jury didn't have blacks on it. The video. Where's the video? You see? Where's his character witnesses? Call somebody up there and get, what's going on. Call somebody from his old schools and wherever he came from. Even if he's not from there, call some friends from somewhere else that can speak for him. Come on, man. God damn. Okay, family. Make sure y'all click that link at the top of the chat. Get over to Patreon. Get that work, man. We got nothing but 5 for you. We still got 2 videos, 5 videos. We on the front line. I'm one of the hardest hitting linebackers on the planet in the universe. You see, you can't even come across the line because I'm right there all the time. You feel me? See y'all in a minute. Click that link, and I'll see you over at Patreon. Black Power.